Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Rheinmetall Skorpion. No, not the Skorpion G, it's the plainclothes version which you can put your own camo on, and boy has PGTraitor done that. Yes, he's actually made quite a colourful Skorpion here. He's on the north spawn of Murovanka and battle's about to commence. Okay, game underway. You can see he's actually in platoon with Labs Temper. They're both in Skorpions, but Labs Temper's opted to have the Skorpion G. So, yes, he's got the standard camo that Wargaming gives you. Okay, looks like they're going to do cover fire from the Magic Forest, or to the Magic Forest. 128mm gun, capable of 490 alpha, and with the standard ammo, 246mm of pen, and with the premium ammo, it's 311. It's the second best alpha out of the tier 8 tank destroyers. The top one being, of course, the SU-130PM. Well, first shot's actually at a T-49 who strayed into the centre and got spotted and was not slotted, but he certainly did feel a fair bit of damage, and that's 467 hit points. It's a nice opening amount. Now basically, the Skorpion, which never actually got built, but it was proposed, was going to be a Waffenträger based on the Panther hull, Panther 2 hull actually, and it was also going to be a tank destroyer where they dismount the gun and put it in a fixed emplacement. Not a lot of people actually realised that. Even less actually realised that the gun is an Arty gun. It's not a tank gun or an anti-tank gun. If it was a tank gun, it would be a KWK. If it was an anti-tank gun, it would be known as a PAC. But no, this one is a Kanonen, which means it's got the K symbol before the gun. And that means it's an Arty gun. It's a howitzer. But it's been howitzer mounted sideways. It's got another hit. The AMX-50-120 took the hit this time. But it's a low roll for 470. Oh, we got a Barras making a very dangerous move, and he gets taken out the game altogether. So he's got his first kill. Now you can play this tank destroyer much like a medium tank. It's a little more difficult because, of course, the loading time. Its standard load is 12.2 seconds, and PGTraitor's got it down to 10. But it's a big beast, and it's not small, so it's on camouflage. It's not so great. So it stands out like a sore thumb. And if you play it like a medium tank, it can be kind of sluggish because the traverse and the turret rotation is not that fast. Okay. Oh, lovely shot to the T-92. High roll for 495, but he's told to pull back. Does so by going back into the top of the Magic Forest. That T-92 definitely spotted him. And of course that would attract attention. But there's no Arty in this game, so he's not being smacked by Arty. Skorpions are the best food for Arty because, of course, they're very lightweight armour. E75 takes a round through his side for 439. Low roll again. It's got decent pen though. Going for the... is that the back of the turret or the front? I think it's the front of the turret actually. I think he's coming towards us. Yes, he is. So you have to aim for the top of the turret roof or the body of the hull. He's waiting for his moment. Here he comes. Gets the side instead, but he gets a high roll for 517. He wasn't spotted. And the guy, well, he's just stopped and he's looking in our direction. Now you have to go for the lower plates. And he does that and gets it. 486, low roll again. Now the enemy seem to have captured our cap area, but not won the game. They're not capping at all, with good reason. And he's got his second kill, the Skoda this time. Okay, E75 kill. No! Oh! That one must have hit the tracks. Must have, because there's no other way that it would stop. He's firing premium ammo, so it should have gone straight through. Picked the right moment. Oh no! No! That must have hit some obstacle in the way because there was no outline. Okay, can you get a shot now? No. The big danger is there's a GSOR 1008 somewhere near our cap area, and he's got 4 shots. So he could actually take out us with, well, 1 mag. If I remember correctly, it's a 105mm gun capable of over 300 alpha. 320, I think it is. I'll have to check that. All gone quiet for a moment. I think there's more action going on at the other end of the map. T32 coming in from our flank. Okay. Can he get a shot? He's only going to get the turret. Of course, that's a strong point. He needs to get the hull. He's getting very close. Very close indeed. There he is. Nice shot. Low roll, 444, but he has to change position because he was spotted. And the GSOR is now in sight. Nice. Oh, that's what I feared. Yeah, I think it is 320 alpha because he just hit us for 302. Probably a low roll. Now, can he get his own back? Yes, he does, and a big hit. But it's a low roll, but it's a big hit on a GSOR with low hit points, and he's now one-shot the GSOR. Can he get the kill? Yes! 3rd kill. He's done a lot of damage so far. 5.3k of damage. He must be close to getting a high caliber. He's got 20% of the enemy hit pool. But it's all about, is there anybody else on his team who's been doing as much damage as he's been doing? Okay, snuggling up to an Object 252U. Oh, he's coming towards us. And that one didn't work, so he needs to get away from here. The 252 does get a hit, but a low roll from his 122. The CS-53 kind of stopped at the edge of the forest, and he's just sitting on the edge. Gotta wonder why he's there though, but that BK160801P, I think is the Maushan. He's not coming forward anyway. He's right at the other end of the map. We get a shot. Oh, no, he's moving away from us. He's moving alongside us, actually, outside the forest. Is he a one-shot? No, but he is out of the game now. He just took a big hit from a T28 prototype. T92 goes down, taken out by the 252U. That's turned the game around now because we're 2 up on the enemy. We were behind them at one point, now we're ahead of them. I think that 252U was having a bit of fun. He's got 2 kills. Unfortunately, we lost Lab's temper. He went down, he was at the other end of the magic forest. Got a shot in the Borsig. Oh, no, he pulled that and it went over the top. That's the trouble if you snatch at the shot sometimes. It's the same with firing a rifle. If you jerk at the trigger instead of actually squeezing it, you sometimes get you pull the shot up over the top. And in fact, I've noticed psychologically it is possible to actually deliberately miss on shots where you want to hit the target, but you accidentally shoot to one side or shoot over the top. That's the psychological problem that apparently they had to try and work on during the war years. And in fact, actually, it's one of the reasons why there's normally more than a dozen or more than 10 men in a firing squad, because if you do have a firing squad, there's a fairly good chance, seeing as they're shooting somebody up close and it's up close and personal, so they're going to see the person who dies, that that somebody will pull their shot. They won't deliberately fire at the person, especially if they happen to know the person concerned. And so that's why they had a firing squad of a number of people, because one of those persons was more than likely going to aim at the target and shoot and kill. Just a little fact there. One of the ways they got around this problem in recent wars is that a lot of people play video games. And it's a lot easier to point and shoot at the target when it's in a video game than it is in real life. which is why it's very easy to be in charge of an anti-tank guided weapon, because it's much easier to get a hit on a tank when you're firing by remote and it's all on a video screen. The problem we've got at the moment is we've got an E75 over the far side. It's difficult to get at it, but the 252U is trying, and he's got the assistance of the T28 prototype. The ones that are holding us up at the moment is, of course, that ISU 152K, the Borsig, and the SU-130PM. They've all pulled back. Oh, no, we're starting to take damage. The SU-130PM takes a round for 293. That's a very low roll. And there's the Borsig, and he's gone. Taken out by the T28. That's a very long-range shot. ISU's repositioning. That guy's got a 750 Alpha, so that's why. Now he's firing blind now. He's being a bit cautious about moving forward because he knows that there's well, there was 3 guns, now there's only 1 gun, and there's tanks between us and the SU-130PM, but he has got a shot, and he gets it, and that's his 4th kill of the game, and just leaves the E75 now, so it's a case of everyone for themselves to get the E75. And here's a 1-shot. Oh yes! 1-range shot, 5 kills. Wins the game. Nicely done, PGTraitor. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was the first ace tanker for PGTraitor in the Skorpion, the Rheinmetall Skorpion, the plainclothes version. You can tell it's the first one because he's got scrolls underneath. You only get that the first time. He got a fire for effect for doing more damage than hit points for his own vehicle. He got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He actually got 5, 1/3 of the enemy team, and just 1 short of getting a top gun. He also got a sharpshooter for getting 10 or more consecutive shots on the enemy, as well as a master gunner for getting 5 armor penetrating hits in a row, as well as a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he managed to get 8 in this one. But best of all, he did get the high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and he was consistently doing damage at whichever end of the map he was. His win rate from that game was 10,627, which is very high indeed. Super income and quite a bit more. And we can see why if we look at the scores, because the nearest player to him in damage was the T28 prototype. He managed to do 6,008 hit points of damage for PGTraitor, 3,185 for the T28, so slightly more than half the score he managed to get. And the 3rd highest on damage was the SU-130PM, which is why he was cautious about moving up against that guy, because both these tank destroyers have very little armor, so anything that's fired from either of them at each other would probably hit and do a lot of damage. 3,076, yeah, that's not bad. He was their best player. When it came to kills, it was PGTraitor. He managed to get 5 kills out of that. The T28 Proc managed to get 3, and he was in joint 2nd place with the ISU 152K, who also got 3. And when it came to base XP, it's PGTraitor. So he's got the top in all 3 columns. 1,392 went to PGTraitor, 1,263 went to the T28 Prot, and 865 went to the ELC Evan 90. So it's basically these 2 players who were doing most of the damage between them. But the Object 252U did have a good game. He did get a couple of kills and a fair bit of damage. Let's have a look at the detail. 21 shots fired, 17 direct hits on the enemy, and 14 penetrations. Well, yes, I say on the penetration side though, he has to take into account the fact that he was firing a lot of premium ammo, which was obviously to make sure that he got the pens on some of the enemy tanks he was firing at, because they did have heavy armor. Now he probably could have got quite a few pens with standard ammo, but he was taking a risk that if he did use the standard ammo, that some of those rounds would not pen or would hit heavy armor. Is that he was up against some tanks which did have heavy armor, like the E75, like the CS53, and so yes, it did help to actually have that extra pen to make sure that it went through. You also got 1 splash damage on the enemy as well. Damage of 6,008 hit points, of which 2,874 were at more than 300 meters. He did receive 1 hit. It was a penetration. It was from that GSOR 1008, and yeah, that's the one I was worried about. But luckily, he was so low on hit points by the time that he did actually hit PGTraitor that he wasn't able to get any more rounds off, because a few seconds later he was out the game. If he had actually been able to put 4 rounds in, PGTraitor probably would have been out the game very quickly. He also damaged 10 of the enemy, so killed 5. So he damaged 2/3 of them and killed 1/3 of them, and 229 hit points of damage assistance. 127,373 credits to the battle on a premium account, 63,683 from personal reserves, 191,059 credits altogether, and after repair, ammunition, resupply and consumables, and even though that was a lot of APCR ammo that he fired out, he still made a huge profit because of course he was in a premium tank, and he earned 111,692 credits, and I think you can put that down to the fact that he was firing a lot of making a lot of damage on the enemy at both ends of the map, and that high caliber score really did earn a lot of credits for him. 2,088 XP times 2 for the first victory, 209 for this being a premium vehicle, 2,088 from personal reserves, took away 6,473 experience points altogether. So the Skorpion G Ace, well, it's not a Skorpion G actually. I think you've got that wrong, PGTraitor. It's actually a Skorpion. It's the plainclothes version. But it's the same tank either way. I know a lot of people would argue this. It is the same tank. If you can do what you just did in the Skorpion, you can definitely do it in the Skorpion G, because there's no difference except the clothing. Let's have a look at the armor. It is basically a Panther from the turret down. And you can see Panther armor, well, it's fairly thin actually. It's 30mm on the front, very well angled. But even then, you can see even with the angling, it's not giving you much. It's only effective armor 30, which is a bit odd, because you'd think with that raking of the armor there that it would actually give you a bit more. I'm not sure if this is working correctly. Let's have a look. Well, it's saying 30mm there, effective armor 35. I think it's, yeah, that is the correct armor. So it is 32, yes. And if we look at the sides of the vehicle, it's still very thin. 16mm of armor, so you can see any shot that hits this vehicle, even an HE round from an Arty, is likely to go through. The turret armor, the gun shield, is only 14.5mm. It's all slab-sided as well, which means that it doesn't really offer much angling or effective armor. You can see at the back there, 20mm. It's basically, this thing has got no armor whatsoever, really, so to speak. Let's have a look at the modules. You can see it's a standard Panther layout. So you've got the driver up front on the right hand side, the radio between him and the radio operator, and the transmission directly in front of both of them, with the tunnel leading to the engine, which is at the back. There's an ammo rack directly behind them, just ahead of the turret, as you can see it. And of course that's useful to know if you are actually trying to set the ammo rack off, because you can just aim the shot directly underneath the gun. You might actually impact one of the ammo racks. There's 2 ammo racks. The other one is in the back of the tank on the right hand side as we're looking at it. We've got the gunner on the right hand side. We've got the tank commander on the left hand side. He's also the loader for this vehicle. There's no dedicated loader. And at the back we've got the engine with fuel tanks all around it, sandwiched it, and right at the back as well. So if you want to get a fire, you could just aim for the rear of the vehicle. You should be able to set something off or at least damage it. But that ammo rack is very, very small to get at the back. It's much easier to hit the one at the front just by aiming directly down the center line. So if you also aim onto something like this, you're more than likely going to get the ammo rack, which is quite nice. But I think most people who play the Skorpion actually do play it like a traditional tank destroyer from a long way away, right at the back. They don't tend to play it like a medium tank like PGTraitor did, or as we've seen other players use it. Filipperino plays it like a medium tank. It can be very effective, but of course that long reload can be a real pain, because it's 10 seconds. It's almost as long as it takes for a 122mm gun, but it is after all a 128mm gun. It's a bigger gun, so you would expect a longer reload time. It's just the very thin armor. On a heavy tank, you've got armor to protect you in between shots. On this thing, you haven't got any armor at all, so anything that hits you is going to do some damage. I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.